Question: if Q follows the normal distribution and find the following probabilities. Now we solve this question. The key to solve these questions is to solve the inequality. So now we solve the inequality. 5 smaller than Q absolute value. This can be changed to the absolute value of Q is bigger than 5. If Q is more than or equal to 0, then the absolute value of Q equals Q. So we get here, this is Q is bigger than 5. So this is the condition for this answer. So we need to find the overlap of Q more than or equal to 0 and Q more than 5. So we do this on the number line. This is the number line. Here is 0. Here is 5. For Q more than or equal to 0, it's this region. For Q more than 5, it's this region. So the overlap of them is Q more than 5. If Q is smaller than 0, then absolute value of Q bigger than 5. Then absolute value of Q equals negative Q. This is bigger than 5. We multiply negative 1 on both sides. So the left side multiply negative 1 equals Q. And here, when we multiply a negative value on both sides, we need to change the sign here. So we change the sign to this way. And then 5 multiply negative 1 equals negative 5. For this answer, the condition is Q is smaller than 0. We need to find the overlap region of Q less than 0 and Q less than negative 5. So we go to the number line. Here is 0. Here is negative 5. For Q less than 0, it's this region. For Q less than negative 5, it's this region. So the overlap of them is Q less than negative 5. So the answer is Q less than negative 5. Now we need to combine these two together to get the answer. So the answer for Q absolute value bigger than 5 is Q bigger than 5 or Q smaller than negative 5. So for question A, the probability that 5 smaller than Q's absolute value equals the probability that Q bigger than 5 or Q smaller than negative 5. This equals the probability that Q bigger than 5 plus the probability that Q smaller than negative 5. Now we can use calculator to find the answer. And for question B, the probability that Q bigger than 5 or 5 smaller than Q's absolute value. This equals the probability that Q bigger than 5 or we use this guy to replace the 5 smaller than Q's absolute value. So here is Q bigger than 5 or Q smaller than -5. Now we see these two guys are the same. So this equals the probability that Q bigger than 5 or Q smaller than -5. Now let's see. You see, this guy is the same as this guy. So they are the same. So the answer for question A is the same as the answer for question B.